New York.
New York. Okay, so that's just the light from the room.
Yes, yeah.
It's kind of light outside though. It's
still
not
light
dark
outside.
yet.
It's not dark yet. Yeah.
Hey, I've been inside for a little minute, so I don't even know. Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you guys get into today? Are you in quarantine? What's going on up there?
Yeah, it's just staying inside trying to she's trying to finish this album, so she's working.
Yeah.
And
but as far as like the quarantine with New
Yeah.
York, everything's starting to open up now. It's
Yeah.
like phase one,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like they're like letting you go outside and go, like different places are open, but it's still like minimal amount of people get to come into a store at one time, and everybody's still wearing masks.
Oh wow! So y'all are still in phase one?
In phase
No,
one.
they got stores. They got stores
Yeah,
opening up.
it's
Yeah.
like phase one or phase two.
Two,
one of those.
yes. We don't really, because I'm really scared because we were on our way to Houston,
Mhm.
and I saw what happened down there. You know, it
Right.
got closed for a minute, and then suddenly, I mean,
Everything
everything is
up.
crazy now. So
Right. It's just a mess everywhere, but to God be the glory to get straightened out at some point, right?
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt.
Mhm.
Gonna be a
So
good thing.
let's get right in, and I'm gonna start with you, legend. Please tell people who you are and your influence in music.
I'm on Juice Jones. You know, I mean, I'm locally loved. You know, nationally known and internationally recognized, which means I'm accepted and respected all over the world.
Oh, he was like, I'm who I say I am. Okay. And tell people the reason that you're on the live tonight.
Well, I'm introducing my daughter, Perri Jones. You know, she's doing a thing. A lot of cats, bringing the children into the game. You know, there's a thing going on called the legacy of legends and their legacies. You know, it's getting ready to take place, and a lot of cats are trying to introduce their children to this game in the right way. You know,
Right.
That's what I'm doing. You know, I mean, there are ways to come into this game, as you know, as you know,
Right.
and there's the right way, you know. So I want to try and be involved in her journey in this part of it, you know. So the way it begins is how it ends. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I wanted to start off right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like an induction.
Well, I wanted her to get her values in place first. You know, I mean, what we're selling is not flesh or sex or any kind of distinct attitude. You know, she's actually the real deal. You know, a lot of parents say that. A lot of cats, you know, they say, you know, my child is this, my child. But it was the moment when she explains her journey to you. She'll tell you it was a moment before I even got involved.
Okay.
You know, because I wanted to make sure that she was absolutely true to what she would become who she said, you know, who she wanted to become, you know, and do what she wanted to do. I wanted to see the work ethic evolve, you know. So, but that's what I'm doing now. I'm just putting into my God. You did.
Okay. All right. So then, when did you realize you had a talent, Perri?
Honestly, I've always wanted to be an artist, but I started off doing public speaking. My mom got me when I was around 8 or 9 years old, like as a young child, performing in front of audiences, but I wasn't singing at the time. I was just doing public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, once I got out of my little shy stages, because you know, when you're not really prepared, you know, I think that's where the shyness comes with people. Like just not feeling like they know what to do and not being prepared. So it's kind of like practicing gives you that extra confidence that you need. So after, you know, just applying myself of practicing and getting familiar with being on stage, my mom actually noticed that, you know, I could actually be an artist, be a singer. I came to my mom when I was around like 6 or 7. And I was just like, I want to be an artist. And that's when she got me into public speaking. And then from there, as my voice developed, around like, I want to say 11 or 12 years old was the first time I actually went to a studio that my mom took me to. And that's when I started to take music seriously. And I told my dad about it. And like he said before, he was like, I'm not going to get involved until I see that this isn't a hobby. Like this is something that you want to do.
I got involved with
right, like probably like 16.
Yeah.
15, 16.
She started at 12 playing with it. I actually got involved at around 16.
But yeah, so to answer your question, I started music. I knew that I was that I wanted to be a singer at a young age, around 7, 8 years old. But I didn't actually start until I was like 12.
Okay. Wow. So, but you were already like going into the studio and just doing your thing. So, do you do vocal training? Like, what's that like?
No. Let me explain the journey. She went to the studio just to get familiar with it initially. When she at 12, when she decided what she wanted to do, she went to class. We got a vocal coach, music, piano teacher, you know, and that's, she honed her craft. She studied her craft.
Right.
That was it. No studio and singing, and that didn't come till way later.
Way later. Wow.
Yeah. That came. She started at 12. I
started recording at like 12, 13. But before then, I was just doing public speaking, and then as far as the music side of things, I was practicing with a vocal coach. And
but the recording was more or less just for the practice of it. The emphasis was placed on the music coach and the vocal coach and the music teacher, and learn the instrument. And she did that for 3 years.
Okay.
And every now and then she would go into a studio just to get familiar with it, the process, you know, but nothing to, she focused on learning her craft. And around 16, when she said, I want to take it serious, then that's when I you know, that's when we start spending money. We got real because we start spending some money. You know, that's when we spend some money.
Well, my mom was already spending some money before then, because, you know.
No, I didn't know. No, we're gonna be cool, yeah. But no, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that's when it got serious for me, when we spent some money.
Right. But you know what I like about your story is that you did not even though you were in the music industry as a legend, like your music is still being played, you did not force it on her.
See, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Oh, I was saying that you did not force it on her. You allowed her to make that decision for herself. So I think that's very inspiring, that you let her choose her path.
Absolutely. Well, I knew the sacrifice that came along with it, you know. And I, you know, if she could develop that, if that was the case, and she actually wanted to do it, music, I believe, should be a calling. Like, you know, it shouldn't be something you could just wake up one morning and want to do. You know, I don't believe that it should be that way. I believe that if you decide that's what you want to do, you should put in the effort, you know, to become something that other people can aspire to, you know, who also want the same thing, you know. So that's the most important part of it, to develop a work ethic and then stick to it.
Right.
You know?
So what is that? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, what is that work ethic like? What is a typical day like for you now?
Well, I wake up pretty early. I've honestly, since this quarantine thing has been going on, you know, it's been kind of hard, because being signed recently to a label, now it's like I have different responsibilities.
Wow.
When I was just doing it on an independent level, but I'll just start with when I was doing it on the independent level, I would just wake up, you know, and even if I had nothing to do, just practice like singing and try to write at least like 2-3 hours. Reading and school on top of that at the time, because, you know, I was still in school, and just applying myself, studying other artists, and getting with my dad, and getting with my vocal coach, and getting with the musicians that would help me to, you know, perfect my craft. But now it's like I have to fulfill different commitments, so it's like I'm writing even more, because I have a publishing deal as well, so I have to write a lot. And on the artist side, you know, I've been working on my EP that's gonna be dropping next month, and I have a single that's dropping on Friday. So yeah, I've just been recording and writing, honestly.
And then we just did a song
Yes, and we just, oh yeah, you can tell.
No,
Okay, so we just did a song. We just did a song called "Won't Stand Still," and it's basically in regards of what the temperature of the world right now, what's been taking place with the whole George Floyd thing, but more so just all of the injustices that have taken place and all of the people's names that you don't hear on the news. You get what I'm saying? And just reflecting on us as one, as a whole, and that's pretty much what just
and also to just encouragement for the mindset that's setting in. It's now, I mean, George Floyd and the violence and the injustice, we want to focus on that, but there's a brighter future in front of us. You know, that deserves, I think, just as much attention, just as much focus. You know, where we are has to be documented, has to be acknowledged. Yes, no doubt. But where we're going is, I think, paramount. I think that's just as important. Where we're going, where do we go from here? You know, how do we get there? You know, the right way. You know, so this song is about that too. You know, won't stand still. That's what won't stand still. It's just forward movement. You know. I think you dig it.
And where will people be able to find that music?
It's on, the Won't Stand Still song is on SoundCloud and YouTube. And as far as my EP, when that drops, that'll be on all streaming platforms. SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, everything.
What is the name of the EP?
It's entitled Details.
Okay. All right. So why did you come up with that title?
Because this project really reflects the in-between. I feel like the moments that happen in between, sometimes as people, we all reach the same phases. We go through the same phases in life. What makes everybody's story different are the moments that happen in between, which are the details. So that's why I call it Details.
I love it. So then
music happens in between the notes. You know, that's how I try. Music happens in between the notes. You know, and life happens in the moments, which in between the process. You know, that's the process. It happens in the moment. You know,
okay,
so
all right.
Strategic.
Strategic. She learning with the best.
I'm trying to tell you. I got you $2.
You gonna get some of that money back.
Believe.
So, do you draw inspiration from older songs?
I draw inspiration from all types of music, honestly. I've always been like, a lot of times people ask me what type of artist do I consider myself as, like, as far as genre. And I really think it's important to, you know, have that diversity. And my dad was introducing me to this thing called fusion. So it's like you take different genres and you put them together to kind of just make your own style. So honestly, as far as eras of music, of course, I listen to the people that were before me, but I also listen to people today and a lot of indie artists that are out right now too.
Okay. What is your creative process like? Just like with the EP, what did you do to come up with that?
So for the EP, usually my dad helps me with, you know, the process of creating my own projects, but for this one, kind of just took a back seat and let me take the lead.
All right. So, teamwork.
I got to work with a lot of incredible musicians and producers on my labels, under my labels team, and develop a lot of new relationships, work with new people, you know, and we just kind of just got to, well, we didn't really get together, but through FaceTime, Zoom calls, stuff like that, we just kind of sent each other things and vibed with one another and built. And my oldest brother, Mookie, he helped me to, you know, write half of the music on there, and it was just a vibe, honestly. We kind of try to keep it as organic as possible. We don't try to force it too much. We just get together and we let it breathe. We vibe.
Okay, all right, you do your thing. Like, and with COVID, and you said something interesting, like with a lot of Zoom calls and meetings. So with the COVID-19, how has that either helped or pushed back you putting out this music?
It was a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it allowed me to go back on the pros of it. It allowed me to go back and really reflect on my whole project and what I was doing, and make the changes that needed to be made. Things that I didn't hear or notice before, I was able to go back and pick them before it went through. It's going through a machine now before it reached that point. But as far as the cons, I would just say, I like to be in the room with people when I work with them. So because that makes the vibe even more, organic and authentic. So that was probably the only bad thing about this situation. I wasn't able to travel and actually all of us be in the room as creatives together. And another pro that happened was I was able to learn how production works. I'm still learning a lot, but I was able to kind of just
see that part of the process,
dip my foot in the pool, on that side of things, and start recording myself. I have my own little mini home studio. So, I was just, I don't think that I would have really had the time to apply myself and really learn the production side of things if the COVID wouldn't have happened. So that was another pro.
Right.
All right. So you found the beauty within the ashes. I love it. So how do you feel the internet has impacted the music business, since we're on that subject?
I think it's giving cats an opportunity now. It's giving cats an opportunity to do their thing in a real way. I mean, that's the upside. The downside is that the gate it opens the floodgates. You know what I'm saying? Record companies, part of their role was they provided access. And I think up to that, the idea was I can't get but so far without their help. Marketing, distribution, promotion, publicity. Everything that was beyond the scope of your understanding to do, you can do. And the record company the power. The internet opened the way. Now, marketing, promotion, those same variables that were necessary in order to hold you hostage are now available to you. You know what I'm saying? So the record company is not really necessary. They're necessary in the sense that if you're not really ready to assume that responsibility, and obviously cats who have stepped up to that, that responsibility, they've been successful. Cats like Master P and cats that didn't necessarily have the internet at that time, but they had most cats who had Russell. A lot of cats that made their mark, that didn't have the internet, they still had the attitude. The internet just made it available for cats who didn't have the attitude to still have the access.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what it was. So it's good and bad. I mean, depending on what side of the coin you're on. But I'm glad that it's available. I'm glad that it works like that. You know what I'm saying? Because when the situation that she's in now, had that situation that came about, we were still prepared on the independent side to it was gonna work. It was working
How
for
we
us.
were moving on the independent side actually opened up the opportunity.
Yeah, it was working.
Wow.
Yeah, it was working. So, in fact, when we locked down this deal with her, that was really just to get. It was a strategic move on our part at first, but then we really got in tune with the cats, that at the label, and they're really, really good guys, and they're really cool people. You know what I'm saying? And they shared our vision.
Right.
At the beginning, I think it was kind of like a money making thing on the beginning. But because, like I said earlier, like a lot of cats say, she got the pipe. She's the real deal. I'm not blowing it up. I'm just, it's like that. That's what it is, And so we were headed in that direction, anyway. But when these cats came on board, they saw the opportunity. It was a money thing. It wasn't, it wasn't about the love. But then when we got together and we started vibing, and we started, really seeing what it could really be. I saw their spirit, I saw how they was, and contractually it was okay. So their spirit was okay. That's a beautiful thing, and I'm quite satisfied with it, and I think she's ready. I think she's the next one.
Okay, she is. Like, I listened to the album, Ugly, that. Yeah, I did. I did my homework. Yeah. So you definitely have the talent. So, like, what was the inspiration behind that piece?
Ugly stands for you gotta love yourself. Like I was saying before, with all my projects, I like for them to kind of tell a story and be cohesive. So it was just a project reflecting on self-love and the different stages of self-love. And I really just feel like a lot of people, Free was actually the song, it became the biggest song on the project, but it wasn't even, we were doing an EP prior to Free coming out, but it wasn't actually going to be on the project. Free just came out afterhand. But overall, the whole project reflects on, being comfortable with where you are and being okay with, who you are. Yeah.
Self-love.
What confidence? When self-love is such a, love yourself, but more in the sense of developing a confidence, more in the sense of developing an overwhelming a high esteem, maintaining a high esteem of yourself, because you're beautiful, baby. As well as yours, you deserve
where
to be
you
here.
are, though.
Yeah,
like,
where you are.
Not trying to make yourself something that you're not, or so it's always okay to have goals and be a visionary, but be confident where you are, so that way you can move forward and you can grow at a productive pace.
Yeah. And if I could say, let me inject something on a more personal level. We were invited, she was invited to Africa, to Ghana. And while we got, as thrilled as I was to get there, part of the reason we were there, I was to address an audience about bleaching in Africa. With young African women were bleaching their skin in order to lighten themselves. It had become somewhat of an epidemic over there. They had banned bleach out the supermarkets. Bleach had become almost outlawed in some areas.
Wow.
And that's real talk. They chicks was bleaching their stuff for real in Ghana. You know what I'm saying? We were there to just to speak on it. And she went to perform, and that was the reason, though. It was that to speak on that, and the company was also developing a makeup line that was for women of darker skin, very dark skin, and so that was a big deal too. But the idea of women bleaching, and that was the part of that. I'm just trying to bring it full circle with the EP, because that was part of it too. Free from the idea that you have to bleach your skin in order to be accepted or in order to be considered beautiful. That's part of it.
Right.
And I just wanted, what I'm saying? It wasn't just about the whole mentality of freeing yourself from anything detrimental.
Of self-love.
Right.
Yeah. So
I'm sure that was overwhelming experience just to see that.
You had no idea.
Wow.
I didn't believe it. I actually didn't believe it at first. I didn't because I never heard of it before. And then when I found out that the level that it's amazing. It's amazing.
Right. Okay. All right. Y'all are very strategic. Okay. So what other, and you said you were working on a publishing deal, or you have that. So can you just tell me a little bit about that?
So what I can say is I signed to a publishing deal. A publishing company. When did I sign?
It's been a few months now, but
4 or 5 months.
The effort was to explore the writing. She wanted to touch that, as opposed to the artist side. So it took me a minute but I convinced her. But it wasn't that hard to make herself because the writing, that's part of it. You know, art, it's cool to sing and dance, and that's a great way of expression. But the writing, writing, developing your craft, and that gives you the longevity. And but I want to
it's fine. You're making it easy.
Well, I don't want to make it easy. It's a shot.
No, I'm just right now. I'm just getting into a lot of different writing camps, and I'm writing for a couple of artists. And there's gonna be some projects coming out soon with me on the writing side. That's pretty much all I can really say right now. But very soon, I'll as far as on social media and things like that, I'll be releasing the projects that I'm writing on that I'm involved with.
Okay, so you would like to be a ghostwriter? Is that what you want to do?
No, I mean, honestly, writing is where the money is.
Right.
I feel like
that sounds so shallow.
No, listen. I love it does. But let me say this. I love music so much that's the only thing that I really want to do. Primarily, of course, later down the line, I want to invest into other things and, build my brand. But right now, being 100% transparent, I am an artist first, right?
Right.
So that being said, I have to be able to support myself as an artist.
That's right.
And writing for other artists, that allows me to do that. You know what I'm saying? I love it so much that it's that's where the money is. So it's you have to be able to support yourself while you're doing what you love. You know what I mean?
Dad is yeah. That part.
Along, of course, with my parents. But it's eventually you don't want your parents supporting you forever. You want to be able to tell your parents to sit down.
No, that's right. Yes.
And you want to be able to take care of your parents.
Take care of your parents in a real way. Real way.
Writing will help me to do that.
Yes, it will. It will. Investments won't hurt either.
It don't sound too shallow now.
No. So but the writing and also you got some of the musician. She's developing her skills as a musician.
Yes.
And she's developing her skills as a producer, learning production, learning programming, learning all the aspects, everything involved, and as much as she can. She's trying herself because one day she. I mean, if you really want to keep your lights on and want to feed yourself and want to hopefully help anyone around you. You want to make money from this. You have to be able to do it on a competitive level.
Right.
There's another chick out there right now that's coming. She's coming.
Fast.
And, fast. And that's not to worry about that, but not to become so relaxed and so comfortable and stagnant. That you take it for granted. It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. This game we're playing.
So what I noticed when I listened to your project is you don't have features. So that's pretty impressive that you were able to make an entire album with just your vocals and it done as well as it did. How do you feel about that? Because most people have to have that backup to kind of make that album pop. You didn't need to do that.
Well, it was an honor, honestly, because looking back on it, like you said, a lot of people do have features, but I really wasn't I feel like, honestly, sometimes me being so naive to what's going on in this industry, it's a blessing because I wasn't even looking at it from that point of view. I was really just I want to express myself and I want to show myself. You know what I'm saying? I want to introduce myself because my dad and my mom always tell me, when you come out, there's no such thing as taking it back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I felt like this is the first time I'm really coming out.
You get one shot to make the first impression.
Make a first impression, right? So since this is the first time I'm coming out, I really want to just come out by myself so that there's no misunderstanding, no misinterpretation. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when we're working and doing collabs with other people, things can happen. The wrong message can be delivered through that. You know what I mean? But just you you really had the opportunity to really just tune in and hone in on, you know, what it is that you're selling, your brand. So that's really honestly the way I came out about it, but it was a blessing, like, that the project got as much feedback as it did, and it was an honor that I didn't even have to really have any features. Like, it was God. I can't even take credit.
Yeah, that was a blessing. Do you, if you had the opportunity to feature with someone or share the stage with someone, who would that be?
Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't know. All these cats got names like baseball.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Scuba Duba,
you know,
Walla.
honestly,
Yeah.
there's so many, but I would say the top three, I'll name the top three people right now that I would love to do a feature with. One person obviously would be Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I would love to do a song with Stevie Wonder. I think that I could learn so much. And, you know, have you ever met Stevie Wonder?
No, I never met Stevie.
Okay, that's one of the people that he hasn't met. Because usually when I say a name, he's like, oh, yeah. I think that would be incredible for both of them to be in the same room and I be able to just learn, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be crazy.
But closer to the artist now.
Another person, a person now that I want to do something with is Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He reminds me so much of my dad. Between my dad and James Brown, like, I personally feel like that's Anderson .Paak. Like, of course, with the Prince and a lot of different other aspects.
Let me use some money right now.
Honestly,
bring my wallet.
My personal opinion is, like, you know, I've never met Anderson .Paak, but I think that he definitely knows who my father is, because I see a lot of mannerisms that resemble my father, and I see a lot of mannerisms that resemble James Brown. So he would be like an alternate, like, it would be an honor to work with him.
I like the style, so I like that.
And I had to throw a female artist in there because, you know, it's all about female empowerment. For the females, I would love to do a song with. Today, I would love to, in today's music, I'd love to do a song with her. Like, she's really dope. She's an amazing musician. And she's really, you can tell she's really in tune with just herself as an artist, and I could learn a lot. And probably from
outside the box.
Outside, I honestly want to work with Erykah Badu. She's pretty dope too. Yeah.
So I have two more questions. What impact has the year 2020 left on you in its current state?
You can answer first.
The impact, I mean, that's the whole, actually, for me personally, I'm in a state of what do you call it when you're hopeful, optimism. Yeah, I'm in a state of optimism now. At one point, I believed that I didn't think that it was any kind of way out for us as the people, not black people, but all people, because I think humanity is colorless. You know,
right.
I mean, humanity is one of those things, either you have it or you don't. You know, and so I think it's been my long belief that racism, the luxury of racism, will one day just leave. And I say the luxury of it because I believe that at some point you won't even have the ability to determine another person's body as color. I think that it'll be one side of people who share one who have one concern, which will be their basic survival, and another side which will maybe be in opposition to that. You know, I think it may evolve to that. You know, where racism has no place. It'll just be about life, you know, and death, you know, and at that point, you know, but that's where I thought it was going, and that's very bleak. That's very, you know, but now that I see the emergence of humanity, you know, and people, you know, for the most part, you know, it's not what I thought it was going to be, and anything's better than that, you know what I'm saying? So now there's hope. I'm prayer. I'm hopeful, and my belief and my faith in God is strengthened. I think as with all of us, ultimately that's what we all wind up. God is the last threshold for the scoundrel.
Amen. Because he knew I was ratchet.
That was me in the other room. I mean,
he already know. He makes no mistakes.
We just joking. No, not yeah. But we all arrived. We all get there. And I think I'm hopeful in the fact that we'll all make it. I know it's certainly been a blessing for me. I'm more so today than yesterday because I'm sitting here talking to you.
Amen.
Amen.
So what do you look? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. For me, it just left me more aware. I think that I was kind of oblivious to a lot of things, and it just opened my eyes up. And I can say I'm definitely going to 2021 more aware and just more present. There for whatever.
Right. That brings me to my next question. Is like, what do you look forward to doing in the next coming year that will prevail you and grow you as an artist?
The next coming year, I look forward to honestly just meeting new people and working with new people, and honestly just studying my craft, learning every day. I'm learning something new about my craft. So I feel like my goals, I don't have like an indefinite goal of just like, this is what I want to do by this year. I want to learn as much as I possibly can in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My goals are so high, like, and they're kind of like, what's it called when it's like just kind of like just moving and it never stops? It's like
it's ongoing.
It's ongoing, right? So it's kind of like I've never really reached my destination. You know what I mean? A lot of times people ask me like, where do you see yourself now 5 years from now? Like, honestly, I don't really have a place that I see myself. I'm just moving. As long as I'm forward, as long as I'm not where I was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that way, I know that I can never put a glass ceiling on my growth.
Right.
Me, I'm not even about winning or losing. I'm just trying to stay in the game.
Well, you've been in the game. That's without question.
A long time. You did. Try to stay on this side of the grass just a little bit longer.
Amen. Yes.
But it's cool. I'm trying to enjoy life, actually, sister. That's what I'm looking forward to. I don't plan for them all. I'm just happy when they get here.
Amen. I love it. That's Orange Juice Jones. That's like something off a movie. Okay.
Real talk, Real talk. That's real, baby. That's real.
So where can our viewers follow you, download your music, and see what else you got going on?
Everywhere.
All streaming platforms, on social media. It's just my name, Perri Jones, Perri Jones. Instagram, Perri Jones Official. Twitter, Perri Jones Music. You type in Perri Jones, it should just pop up, honestly.
Yeah, it'll pop up. And I'm working with some cats to do this what's it, blog, the thing, the corner, where we talk about the corner where we talk about social issues, from a player perspective. You dig? It's kind of cool. It's gonna be kind of fly. I tell you on to it when it's called the corner. Orange Juice Jones, the corner.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you both.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much. Do you want to leave anything else with the viewers before we log off?
Yeah, I would like. Well, you want to go first?
Yeah.
All right, I said, look here. When you wind up making your mind up, at that point you find up instead of down.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so very much for having us. It's been real regular. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.